and welcome to another edition of Digging Deeper with Brian Hale. Brought to you by Hale Multimedia, website and mobile app development for over 25 years. That's halemultimedia.com. Now listen in and join me online at diggingdeeper.us. All right, good evening, everyone. I have Bob Hessler on the line with us talking about emergency preparedness. He's going to cover several topics on different things that we can do both at home and in our vehicles ahead of time to make sure that we're ready for emergencies that might come our way. You're listening to Bluff Talk, a program of people making news in Scottsbluff County. Tonight's program is sponsored by Jenny Powerline Angus, our Scottsbluff County scanner, primary sponsor in the category of safety alerts. Visit Scottsbluff County Scanner on Facebook, on just about any social media platform, or on the web at scottsbluffcountyscanner.com. Thank you to Skip Jenny at Jenny Powerline Angus for sponsoring the Scottsbluff County Scanner and this Bluff Talk program. Now here's our guest, Bob Hessler. Bob, welcome to Digging Deeper and Bluff Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me on your program. It's an honor.
Bob, I appreciate that, but this is just a small town deal where we're all taking care of each other, and this Scottsbluff County Scanner has been something that we've just been blessed to be able to be a part of, and we always appreciate your input on anything that's going on there as a follower. And I know that you work with emergency preparedness, so can you give me your title, please?
Well, I am the coordinator for Scottsbluff County CERT STAR team, which is the Search and Rescue, and CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team, and I am the coordinator of that organization. CERT is a program that is funded through Homeland Security, FEMA, and they put this program into play to train people in how to deal with emergencies in their home or in their vehicles or at work instead of relying on the emergency personnel thinking that they're going to be there to help them. Because I'll be very honest with you, if it is a major disaster, you're not going to get the help that you think you're going to get, and that's why we try to train the public in how to prepare for yourself and not rely on somebody there to help you.
Sounds like we have a common mission there. We try to teach the public the same thing. The way that you allow people to get involved with the emergency preparedness is really cool. I know you have some trainings throughout the year where you allow people to do that.
We try to do 2 trainings a year. We try to do one in the fall, and then we try to do one in the spring. And we just want to, the people can take the training. It doesn't cost them anything to take the training. It's a Friday night and all day Saturday, and we're done usually by 7 o'clock Saturday night. But it's free of charge, and we just train you in how to put together disaster kits, how to handle emergencies around your home, like shutting off your water, how to shut off your gas, and how to prepare for severe weather like the blizzard that they're talking about coming in this week. I'm already starting to plan what we're going to do with my family in what's going to happen if it does hit. So it just teaches you how to prepare ahead of time and not wait till it's too late and then can't do nothing.
So speaking of that blizzard, what are some things that you have lined out there that we all should know about what's coming up?
Well, the first thing that I'd just like to start off with, Brian, is talking about traveling. Even coming into the holiday seasons, everybody in Nebraska knows that the weather can be sunny 1 minute and 5 miles down the road, you're in a blizzard, you're in a tornado. It just depends on the situations of the time of the season. Coming into the winter season, though, it's a little different situation because when your vehicle breaks down, the first thing people want to do is they want to get out and start walking. And the biggest thing that I can stress to people is if it's in a snowstorm, stay in your vehicle. And the reason why is because you get outside and you think that light is 100 yards away and you start walking, but in the blizzard, snow falling causes you to lose direction of travel. And next thing you know, you don't even know where your vehicle's at, and it becomes an unfortunate thing sometimes to where you end up freezing to death because you weren't prepared to get out into the cold, first of all, and then with the snow and the wind chills creating hypothermia to our body, it drops the core temp to where all of a sudden you start making bad decisions and you get lost, and next thing you know, you go unconscious, and then we may get called out with our search team to go looking for this person. Well, now we got to deal with the snow drifts and everything else, and it's a very dangerous situation. So we just encourage people, stay in your car, do not get out and start walking.
Okay. Stay in your car, number one.
Then the second thing, Brian, is have a go kit. Have a duffel bag. Have whatever you want to call it. But the big thing is, once we get you start to travel, you need to put a plan in place. Contact the family where you're traveling to and let them know that we're going to be taking the I-80, we're going to be taking Highway 2, we're going to be doing 385, so that if you do not get to your destination, at least they have a starting point of knowing what route to start looking for you. The other big thing, and I have this with our family, is we have what's called the Life 360 app, and on that we are able to track our families, and we know right where they're at, and if they're in a car accident, it actually has a collision alert that will tell us that they've been in an accident and right where they're located at, so that's another big benefit to having in that situation. Now, when we start talking about our go kit for the vehicles, you can put anything you want to put in it, but the thing that we recommend is the following items. Those chemical hand warmers that you activate by the air, have those in your pack. And then the other big thing is making sure your fuel above a half a tank. Don't ever let it go below it in the wintertime, because if you do break down, at least you've got the fuel. Hopefully, if the vehicle will start again and you just got stuck. Now, if it doesn't start, it's a whole different story. But the other thing that is recommended by FEMA and the other agencies are a collapsible shovel to help you dig out, gloves and winter clothing, wool socks, waterproof rain gear. A lot of people think, well, that's really crazy, but if you put your winter jacket on and then put your rain gear over top of that, one, it's waterproof, so it's going to block the wind from coming into you. It's going to help keep the heat in your body. And stocking caps are a big thing to keep the heat in as well. The other thing is we recommend like the flashing beacon lights, any kind of a flashing light that you can put on your vehicle to draw attention to you, because when the snow plows are out, they're going to see that flashing light. The road, your four-way flashers, you can run them, but if your vehicle don't start, the battery's going to go dead, and now you got another situation to deal with from that point. So get reflectors, blinking lights. The other thing is paint. A 1-gallon paint can is put in some sand and salt mixture, and what you're going to do there is you're going to put that underneath the tires, so that if you are stuck, and again we're going to go back to the engine is running, but you're stuck, shovel out the snow, and then you put the snow and sand melt underneath, and it'll help give you the traction to get going again. The other one is, of course, first aid kit, extra washer fluid. And now another one, and people really laugh when I go into business and talk about this training here that we're talking about tonight, Brian, but have about a 5-foot piece of rope. And that 5-foot piece of rope is for you to tie around your mirror, tie it around your wrist, so that if you do need to go to the restroom, you can go outside and be tied off so you can get back to your vehicle. People don't understand how they can get disoriented in a snowstorm and not find their vehicle again, and now we're right back to the same situation of we're going to be looking in the snow for you as to with that rope, it'll get you back to your car door. So that's an important setting there. Jumper cables, make sure you got a phone charger to keep your phone charged. Plastic tarps. I carry a 5x7 tarp. I carry 2 of them in my vehicle. One, if I got to change a flat tire, I lay it on the ground. I'm not laying in the snow. I'm staying dry to help prevent from hypothermia, frostbite. The other thing is the other tarp, if you got somebody in your vehicle, can stand outside, wrap the tarp around the outside of you to act as a wind curtain to keep you from the wind and the cold. So just little things like this can make life much easier for you. Have an unscented candle candle will put enough heat off just to keep you warm. The scented candles you got to be very careful with because some of the scents can make you sleepy, and then you fall asleep with a candle burning in your car, and now you know what? We got another big problem. So those are just some of the things that you want to have in your vehicle at that time. And another big one is having cash with you. In today's age, everything is done with a debit card. But what these people are going to find out is when we lose power, the debit card machines are not going to work. Now, people say, well, God, if there's no power, how are you going to buy anything? Well, if they've got a generator, their store is going to operate, and you got cash. But I'm just telling you is have cash on hand at all times for an emergency situation. Brian, I did forget to mention on the cars is that if the car is able to run, make sure you keep a window cracked down a little bit for fresh air to come in so you don't get carbon monoxide. Mm-hmm. The other big thing is make sure that you got enough rope to get you around to the back of your car to clean the muffler out. So I wanted to make sure I touched that big time. So, Brian, that's where we talk about with the Go Kit for the vehicles. Now, if you have pets, make sure you have food and stuff for your pets. We encourage you to travel with your pets in a crate. That way, if you do have an accident, the pet is in the crate and not getting thrown out of the vehicle, type of deal like that as well. So, that's what we talk about when we talk about vehicles and Go Kits for your vehicles in the wintertime.
Wow, Bob, those are incredible tips. I'm writing down some notes here, and I have an entire sheet covered here. Things that I thought that, as a veteran and emergency-minded person, I thought that I had these things in mind, but you brought up some really, really good things. So I'm going to repeat those on our podcast underneath the notes to make sure everybody has those, and I'm going to give the dates and times of your trainings if you have those, as well as the website. And in fact, let me ask you, if somebody is interested more about CERT or emergency preparedness, what would be the best source or way to contact or find you or your information?
They can call me either at 308-631-0076 or my email is safetyline@gmail.com. I've sold my business, and so I'm kind of semi-retired now, so I'm focusing on the disaster training preparedness because it's near and dear to my heart. When I was with FEMA and I went down to New Orleans, that's where I got my eye-opening in disaster preparedness because people they take everything for granted that it'll never happen to us, but when it does, then we're in trouble. And that's my next thing I want to take to you too now is our home factor, what to do at home.
We'll be back with those home emergency preparedness tips from Bob Hessler. In case you missed it, the Scottsbluff County Scanner has expanded. Now we're offering Scanner News and More, a separate Facebook and social media feed for those interested in news above and beyond the 5 major categories. We do appreciate those who follow the Scanner, and please jump over to Scanner News and More and follow us there for even more coverage of Scottsbluff County. That's Scanner News and More on Facebook. Visit today. All right, we're back with Bob Hessler talking about our home Go Kits.
When we go home and talk about home kits, there's things that people don't realize that they can do, and the biggest thing I want to stress right off the start coming out of the fire service is try to stay away from burning candles in your home when the power goes out. Candles increase the risk of fire, and we definitely don't want that. There's enough technology out there today, just like in my house, and I bought it for my kids. We have light bulbs that are LED light bulbs, but they have a battery in it so that if the power goes out, those light bulbs turn on. We don't need candles. We prepared for that situation. The other big thing is FEMA recommends in their disaster guidelines that you have at least a 3-day supply of food for anybody that's in your home. 3-day supply of food, because here's the biggest thing that people don't understand in a disaster. And I just want to say that a disaster is considered when all the resources are drained, it becomes a disaster because now they need more resources. Well, if we get a blizzard and all of the resources are gone, people in Scottsbluff, Geary, and surrounding areas, they're not going to get that help because there's not enough people. And keep in mind here, whether you're a volunteer fireman or paid fireman, first responder, if the roads aren't passable, those folks aren't going to be able to get to the stations to get the equipment to go to the fire or to the emergency. It creates this major issue that people don't really think about. What if it happens? How are we going to deal with it? So have a 3-day supply of food. Stock your pantry, and the thing is, people wait till the last day to go to the grocery store, and then they start posting on social media, look at the shelves, they're all empty. Well, the Weather Service has been talking about this snowstorm now since Thursday, and people are going to be going to the store tomorrow panicking to get things, and that's not going to be there because people go in and panic and buy large volumes of food that they really don't need, but they panic. It's panic buying is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So stock your pantry with high-energy food, not junk food. Remember, if the power goes out, you can't cook. In our home, we have a generator, and we have a little hot plate that we have, and we can put a pan on there, and we can cook off of that with the generator. Generator will run not our furnace, but it will run the heaters that we have, and we can isolate it down to a small area of our home. Now, there is one thing I do want to stress to people is that if the power goes out, now, like I believe it was 5 years ago, Kearney had that ice storm, and there were people 38 days without electricity. That's a long time. People in the communities need to plan and be prepared how to do that. Well, one thing that people say is, well, I'll just put our food outside in the snow and it'll stay cold. The CDC and those folks do not recommend that because the temperature changes can cause bacteria in that food, so they do not recommend that. What they do recommend, though, is filling water jugs and getting those froze, and you can put them outside to freeze, and then have your coolers and put the food in the coolers with the jugs of ice, and now you can set that outside because it's going to be cold, and you're in a controlled environment versus putting it straight out into the snow. So I just wanted to touch that with you. Now, our foods that we want, granola bars, high-energy granola bars. You want to put those in the vehicle and also in your house. Pancake and baking mix. It's easy to mix, and that's all you got to do is have that little grill like I told you. Make sure you don't put none of that stuff in the garage where you're staying or in the house because of carbon monoxide risk. Peanut butter. Peanut butter is an easy thing to have, and it's high protein. Celery. You can eat celery and peanut butter, and you'll be good there. Another big thing is canned foods like tuna, salmon, chicken, turkey, meat. Those canned goods, some of them may not be tasting the best, but when you're down to needing something to eat, you're not going to be too picky what you're going to eat. Canned beans is high in protein, high in fiber. Honey is another thing, and honey never goes bad. It might get hard and crystallize, but honey does not get bad until people put it in the microwave to warm it back up, and as soon as they put it in the microwave, it takes the purities away. So your best bet is to put it in hot water. The other thing is your produce, apples, bananas, citrus fruits, oranges, grapes. Those are another big item for being isolated, for needing something to eat.
Time for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll find out what Bob recommends for the sweet tooth. We've produced over 2,500 podcasts during the past year, including the Harvest USA, Daily Ag Markets, the Horseman's Corner, and our fastest growing podcast, the Cattleman's Corner. This record-setting growth in listenership and, more importantly, downloads means your message could reside permanently on people's computers and phones everywhere when you become a sponsor of these podcasts. Contact us at halemultimedia.com for more information on this opportunity. That's halemultimedia.com. And now back to our program with Bob Hessler and his recommendation for our sweet tooth.
For the sweet tooth, dark chocolate. Now, people don't realize, but dark chocolate is healthy for the heart. Your hot cocoa mix, herbal teas. But the other big thing I don't want people to forget about is your special needs, like your medicines, multivitamins, baby food, baby formulas, dog food. The other big thing, and I'm a big dog lover, do not leave your dog outside in the wintertime. As I always say, If you want to leave your dog outside, you go outside and sit with your dog without a jacket on and just see what it's like. Because just because them dogs have long hair, they still get cold between the paws, and their pads will get hypothermia and freeze. Then they get it affects you just like it does a human being. So do not leave pets outside. I get very upset with people that leave their dogs outside in that situation. And then, Brian, one other thing that I'd just like to add that I did forget about on the car side is if you have 2-3 people in your vehicle, make sure you got thermoses with hot water. Don't put anything in it, just hot water. And then if you do need to use the fluid because you're broke down or stranded, either have hot cocoa or Jell-O. The Jell-O is sugar, flavor. Putting it in that water, it's going to give you energy with the sugar. The other thing, you can carry the honey, put honey in there, and that'll give you energy as well. But what it does is that warm fluid gets you on the inside, and it warms you up to push the cold back out. Now, there is another remedy that can be used for cold, and that is buying cayenne peppers, the cayenne pepper pills. And if you take that cayenne pepper pill, as you get it inside your body, you may want to take it with crackers or something because it can be a little strong. But the cayenne gets into our bloodstream, and it warms the blood up, and it helps keep you warmer on the inside. So that's just another little trick that does work being out in the cold.
And I'm sure there are probably a few tips you're going to think of after we finish talking. Again, can you go ahead and let people know where they can get this resource, this information, in case they want to read this somewhere or find out more?
If you're interested in any information that I've given out tonight, you can contact me at, my phone number is 308-631-0076. My email address is safetyline@gmail.com. That is SAFETYLINE, all one word, @gmail.com. You can reach out to me if you're interested in the CERT program. Reach out to me. Like I said, we'll probably be doing another training in April sometime because the weather's a little better to train outside. But you can get a hold of me anytime. I'd be more than happy to come to businesses and talk with them about disaster planning in the workplace. And I don't charge to come in and talk to them. So that's the other nice thing.
Oh, that's fantastic. Disaster planning in the workplace, something that you'll do if businesses will just reach out to you.
Yes, sir.
CERT also has a Facebook page, right?
Yes, we do.
Your phone number again was 308-631-0076, and that's safetyline@gmail.com. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you'd like to say in closing, Bob?
I don't believe so, Brian. I like I said again, I just appreciate you for allowing me to come on and put this education together for these folks, and hopefully people got something out of it and they take this to heart. You know, because the weather is so unpredictable. That's the big kicker. I'm going to sit in tomorrow on a video Zoom with the Weather Service because they're going to put out a deal on this upcoming storm and the severity of it and what to expect out of it. And so I'll be listening to that, and then when I get down to that, I'll be posting probably information on our CERT Facebook page just to alert people of what's going on and what to expect out of this.
Well, you're sure right. The weather's ever-changing, and we appreciate you putting in your time to get that information out to the community. And it's just great to see how the community has come together to share information.
That's the nice thing about this area is we've got great people, great agencies, great fire departments. You know, they all volunteer their time. Scottsbluff, of course, is a paid fire department, but they still do a terrific job of taking care of the citizens of Scottsbluff. But it's a thankless job in that field, and it's a very difficult job in that field. I did the fire and ambulance for about 12 years each side of it.
And I should have mentioned that earlier, you know, your long service there. You've been doing a lot for a long time, Bob, and we really appreciate you and appreciate you sharing this information with us. And thank you very much for being on the podcast tonight.
Thank you, Brian. You have a Merry Christmas, sir.
That was Bob Hessler, Scottsbluff County Scanners Emergency Preparedness Security Advisor. We appreciate Bob's input, and we will be hearing more of him in the future. That's going to do it for today's program. And that does it for another edition of Digging Deeper. Visit our website to catch this podcast and many others anytime. You can also watch our live TV network, browse our on-demand content, read our controversial articles, or sign up if you feel led to join the cause for defending our Constitution. It's all on diggingdeeper.us. We appreciate you listening, and remember, visit diggingdeeper.us to learn more about what we're doing to bring truth to light.